So, what's something you did for money but you weren't happy about?
um,
Hard mode. You can't say
oh,
go to work.
I sold meat off a truck.
You were
Yeah,
the
uh,
meat guy,
neighborhood meat man.
the
I
meat
did that for
man.
2 days.
Was it on
Not.
this episode or this podcast we were talking about the meat man?
You know what's weird is I should have thought of that. We've touched on that.
The meat
Like
man.
the neighborhood meat man. But I feel like I
Mm.
did not bring that up, or I was maybe it was an episode I wasn't in and I just listened to it. But yeah, I sold steaks from some company off of a pickup truck. We drove through people's neighborhoods and knocked cold knocking on doors. Unnecessary, weird. The white guy that was my partner always wanted to go to the whitest neighborhoods, where as soon as he knocked on the door and the door opened up, their eyes would go directly to me.
To you, yeah.
I was like, I ain't even talked yet, man. And
Yeah.
one day, like, so to take the meat out, you had to. I can't remember there was an upfront fee, or you could pay on the back end. So you had to sell a certain amount of meat to give them their profit, and then you got whatever over the profit was left. And one time we were under, so I had to give them $10, which I had to go get from one of my roommates. I gave them the $10. I was like, I'm not coming back here. And they were like, hey, you made good money. I was like, you did. And I left.
Jamel.
Now you said I can't say work.
Just go to your regular job.
But I'll say, I was going to say working a holiday for somebody, but most of those were actually pretty dope. But yeah, I think there was like one long weekend. Used to take $100, $200 off somebody in the barracks to do their duty, and one of those nights got pretty wild. So could have done without that.
Okay, well, how about this? You ever traded stocks?
I tried to use one of those apps that came out. What?
Like Acorns or something?
Or Robinhood, or one of those, and it just didn't seem to work for me. And then I just said, screw it.
You guys just reminded me that I have an app on my phone where I have like $50 of stock, and I have not opened it in like 3 months.
So my last job, my work mom, I wouldn't say she traded stocks, but she was in the stocks, and she had a stock guy. So like that's where her savings was in the stock market. And she started teaching me about it because the bank gives you 0.003%. And she was like, this is the best way to grow your money. You got a family now, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, I was just listening to her at first. And then, like, I don't know, she actually tried it out and I started getting into it. I remember I was trying to teach some of the secret brown kids what she was teaching me. And then shortly after that is when like Robinhood really blew up. And then after that, the meme stocks came. So it kind of all fizzled out because of the meme stocks, but also because like I just couldn't afford, I didn't have disposable income to play around with it some more. Like the money I was saving, I couldn't save it. Like, so I still got stuff in the stock market, and it's all on dividend stocks. So I don't really got to think about it, but it's not like, I'm not about to be rich off of that. And I'm gonna get back into it once I get some more money going. But like, I did kind of learn the basics and all of that. So like certain things they're talking about in this movie, I was like, oh, now I get it. But also like, I wouldn't fuck around with a lot of it, right? Which leads me to my next question, which would have been if y'all had any like personal rules when you mess with stocks.
I just got into this app by Activision. That's this. Oh my god. Actual personal rules about buying stocks. Shoot. I think when I started messing with the app, the first thing I wanted to do was not just buy something expensive and hope for the best, but I also didn't want to like hunt around for dumb things, trying to find the next big thing. So I have like CSX. Things weren't doing good at CSX, but I knew that eventually that the economy was going to change around on that when the government said, please don't close down the railroad.
Yeah.
So I have that. And the same thing as Activision. It was like, oh, everybody's going to hate when Overwatch 2 comes out. They're going to hate on it. It's going to go down. And then it's going to come back up because it's going to be consistent enough to stay there.
Yeah, and they got other things going too.
Yeah, maybe I should have got some of that Fallout 4 stock.
Yeah.
My thing was
Bethesda.
the rules I set for myself, or at least ethics wise, was I wasn't going to touch oil. I wasn't going to touch residential real estate because oil, climate change, that's something I care about. So I was like, I can't profit off of this. And residential real estate, I knew that I'd be funding gentrification.
Yes.
And
those are fair.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like that's as far as I thought. And then now I'm actually seeing like that shit happen. Like you hearing about all these different housing crises and how like New York banned Airbnb and whatever. And a lot of those companies, first of all, it's companies buying up the real estate, the houses, and then they're either doing Airbnbs or they're just hiking the rent up. But they're able to buy so many houses because they have. Now, I'm starting to forget the technical terms and shit, but basically, the companies are on the stock market as I know someone might correct me. Is it REITs or something like that, right? And basically, like you can invest into it, and the allure of it is they have high dividends and they give like monthly returns, so you'll make a lot of money back fast. So that's how they get you in, and then they legally have to give a certain amount of their profits back. So that's how they're able to do the high dividends. But because of all of that, they have all these funds coming in. They can keep buying up houses, but then they hike the rent up so that they can make their profits and then give out their profits to the dividends and all that stuff too. So it's just the machine, and that's why you see so many houses getting bought up. That's why you see those houses that's like, or those signs in your neighborhoods that's like, we buy old houses and shit like that.
We buy ugly houses.
Yeah. Like all of that is just companies.
Yeah,
and that's fueling gentrification and all that shit. And I was like, So the only real estate I had was like some industrial stuff. Like they only did industrial shit off to the side, and like they rent out space to like warehouses and shit. And I was like, all right, cool. Like that doesn't seem like it's evil. It might be, but it's not obviously evil.
Hey, no one got rich on the stock exchange being ethical, man.
See, that's the other thing. I knew going in I was never gonna be rich because I couldn't do the shit that the rich folks do. I like that. Like I'm not gonna invest in the residential real estate. But there's folks who just follow money and they don't care as long as they can get some money. And that's what brings us here today. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. On that note, thank you for joining us today. If this is your first time with us, we're the secret group of brown kids. Who are this secret group of brown kids? It's a secret, but you might be able to find us up real late at night wondering who that asshole getting out of the helicopter on TV is, asking ourselves, why he under my house? I don't know if y'all remember those infomercials that played in the movie, but I do.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how I knew who he was. But yeah.
I actually don't.
Wow, maybe you were overseas then or something, I don't know. Or you went to bed on time. My name is Tifzilla, your host, and on this podcast I make my friends watch movies with me and talk about their feelings. And on the panel today, request all his cash being $2 bill denominations from the bank. Tim.
Again, I don't think you understand how close you're getting on some of these.
And lost his password to his crypto wallet and only has 2 guesses left. Jamel.
I mean, it's like $500,000. How did I freaking forget?
Use your grandma name.
I tried that. I tried them both.
And on today we're watching The Wolf of Wall Street 2013 as part 3 of our Scorsese x DiCaprio miniseries. Closing it out. And the plot description is: a New York stockbroker refuses to cooperate in a large securities fraud case involving corruption on Wall Street, corporate banking world, and mob infiltration, based on Jordan Belfort's autobiography. Hold up.
Is that the plot?
That's the Letterboxd's plot, but I don't remember mob shit.
That's the plot of the last third of the movie.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like
their description is almost a spoiler.
Look, well,
I mean, if you know anything from watching movies like this, just watching the trailer, everybody doesn't come out like on the other side with their thumbs up. Like,
my bad, y'all. Let me read the IMDb one.
All right.
Based on a true story of Jordan Belfort, from his rise to a wealthy stockbroker living the high life to his involving crime, corruption, and anyway, it's the same shit. I guess everyone, they all just know that you knew who Jordan Belfort was, because
maybe.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Whatever.
mob infiltration, because
I don't remember the mob part.
I don't think there's any mob in this.
No, they're doing their own corruption. I don't remember there
They
being...
are the mob. Like,
someone read Scorsese and just said mob's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm sorry. I should have thought about that description.
That's not on you.
Matthew McConaughey said, "Do I look funny to you? Like ha funny? That's rookie funny."
Yeah, so this had a theatrical release, 2013, and you can currently stream it on Netflix or Paramount Plus if you got it. Do you have to watch it before listening to the rest of this episode? I don't know. It's a true story. Some of the jokes might land better, I guess, but it's not like it's not like Shutter Island, last week's episode.
Oh,
anyway, we're doing this Scorsese DiCaprio miniseries because Killers of the Flower Moon is coming out, which would be his 6th time working DiCaprio, Scorsese. And we said, let's go through some of their movies together. We skipped Gangs in New York and The Departed. Gangs in New York, didn't feel like it. And everybody likes The Departed. So that left us with The Aviator, Shutter Island, and The Wolf of Wall Street. So now we're here.
I forget Shutter Island is Scorsese.
Yeah, because he never did anything like that.
It's definitely,
or at least it's been a long time since
weird for him.
So in this movie, we got Leonardo DiCaprio, Jonah Hill, Margot Robbie, Matthew McConaughey, Kyle Chandler, Rob Reiner, John Bernthal, Jon Favreau, and Jean Dujardin.
Real quick, do you not know Rob Reiner?
Oh yeah, no, Rob Reiner.
Okay,
what's he from?
We'll talk about him later. He's one of the best directors from late 80s, early 90s. He made The Princess Bride.
I think you might remember. You might also remember him from All in the Family.
All in the Family, yeah.
He's not who I remember from All in the Family.
You said Reiner, and I'm like, oh wow, he doesn't know Rob Reiner, but that's all right.
Oh, because I said his name wrong.
I mean, I'm not trying to be anyway.
I mean, not to skip ahead, but that's kind of cool that Scorsese's so good with it. He can just ask 2 directors to be in his movie.
3. Spike Jonze in here too.
Who's Spike Jonze?
You know what?
I know who Spike Jonze
never
is,
know Spike Jonze when I see him. I'm always surprised that he looks a different way.
Look, he's one of them people who if you say what's the joke? You show me 2 white dudes. It's like, those are the chain smokers.
That's Beck.
Oh, okay.
Right. Why not? That could be anybody.
That's why I was like, I know who Spike Jonze is, but who the hell was he in the movie? Because I damn sure didn't.
The CEO at the little penny stock place.
It was.
Yeah.
Or not the shoes. The early guy. We just kind of do our thing.
Yeah.
So 3 directors.
Now I see it.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
That's funny. Okay.
You're a prolific director. You could just have people just up in the movie, hey, what you doing tomorrow?
And the third one is Jon Favreau,
Scorsese.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Favreau and his dark comedy writing ass.
So this is based on the autobiography written by Jordan himself, Jordan Belfort, and the screenwriter was Terrence Winter. Budget $100 million, which I'm sure went to actors and shit. Everybody was in this movie.
Real coke.
And I guess they
I was going to say that myself.
And real coke. There was some CGI too, I guess. Real coke would explain a lot, actually.
It would.
In box office, it did 117 mil domestic, 290 international, 407 worldwide total. That is
actually
huge numbers for Scorsese. Yeah,
only 100. So domestically, kind of a dud.
Not really.
I mean,
not for Scorsese. This was his most earnings. I think it still is. And I mean, it's definitely not a flop total.
No, not total. No.
But
I guess for R-rated comedy at 3 hours.
At 3 hours, 100. That's huge.
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 5 Oscar noms: Best Actor Leo, Best Supporting Actor Jonah Hill, Directing Scorsese, Adapted Screenplay to Terrence Winter, and it was also nominated for Best Picture. Didn't win any of them, but 5 noms. And Rotten Tomatoes, audience 83, critics 80. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, solid. It still pains me every time I remember that Jonah Hill has 2 Best Supporting Actor noms.
What's the other one for? Moneyball?
Yeah, that got him this one actually.
Oh, I mean, I'm not gonna act like he his role in this, like he did the thing.
I think he deserves
I
it.
hate the character, but you were supposed to hate him. But
Yes.
like the shit he did and said, like, oh my god. Plus it, like, I'm sure it still had that little bit of I don't know if there's a word for this, but like they expected less from him as a comedian, and then he did a bit more, and they're like, oh, he can act too. Yeah. Like, it wasn't a dramatic role. He was still a funny character, but damn. Yeah. Like, Donnie was on 10 with Leo, like, in terms of like how fucking wild they were and just the delivery and everything. Yeah, so, but yeah, real quick shout outs. Nigeria's back. Hey, Nigeria.
Hey, all right.
What up, Nigeria?
Yeah. And there's a guy, I don't work with him, but he's in my building. And for like the last like few months, we've been chatting every time we bumped into each other in the hallway because I always complimented his sneakers. And at some point, he brought up that he liked movies, and I was like, "Hey, not only do I like movies too, but I'm another nigga with a podcast." But he actually listened to the podcast, and then next time he saw me, he was like, "Hey man, I listen, and like I really like you guys. You're really funny, and I like the name too." I was like, "Oh snap!" Like he really went and listened. So shout out to Kent.
All right.
Shout out, man.
Now moving forward, we're gonna spoil the movie. I mean, it's a real story, and I already just spoiled it in the plot, but you know how these things go. So real quick, how do we feel about the movie?
I mean, okay, so long
as shit.
I'm gonna throw out. I'm acting like these are like cards that I can only use for so much time. I'm gonna throw out this one. I'm not gonna use. I could go to this other one really easy, but I'm throwing this one out now. Why does it feel like so much like one of those movies where Adam Sandler gets his friends together and they just cut up?
Yeah, I get that. Like Grown Ups, but
yeah,
R-rated.
Yeah. It's just, I just want to hang out with my good friends Chris Rock and Dave Attell and everybody. And oh my God, I'm going to say the F-bomb more because I can.
Look, like, I haven't seen every Scorsese movie, but this is the first Scorsese movie that I've seen that's like this.
Right.
It
felt so much not like his style.
That's why I thought he was doing the coke too. Like, this shit was insane. And I think I like this movie a lot more this time than I really didn't like it the first time I saw it. It was like almost sensory overload. And I realized this after watching 3 Scorsese movies in a row, that his movies take you along. I mean, like most movies fucking do that, you know? But especially his, he's really good at, like, as a viewer, you're going on this ride with the main character, and he does his best to kind of make you feel the way they feel at points. Like, that's the whole gimmick to Shutter Island. And even like with Aviator, like, you kind of get that sense, like the whole movie feels like a ride, but then like he wants you to feel like if you're in luxury, like you see you're in that awe at certain points, like within like an Aviator. And like when like Jordan Belfort, started getting money, you're like, you feel that, like, that excess, right?
Yeah.
Like that he's doing the fucking most, and you can feel it. It comes through the movie. But at 3 hours, I felt like I was getting sensory overload. And then at some point, we were getting a new scene every like 90 seconds of just wilding the fuck out. I felt like I got like assaulted after I saw it the first time. Haven't seen it this time, and I got my mind right. Like, I was able to laugh a lot more and like take in a lot more of the jokes and the decisions. and I appreciate it more now, but it is a lot.
I
It's
took it
still a lot.
slow. I rewound every once in a while if something seemed like I missed something, but there were definitely scenes. Like you're saying, they just shoved scene after scene after scene. But then there were times when a scene was like, okay, I get what's going on. Oh, we're still going. Oh, okay. All right. Well, you just gave me like 4 flash scenes really fast, and now we're still on this one. Okay. Is something gonna happen? No, it's just this, huh? Okay.
Look, I ain't
Okay.
never done coke.
Oh,
But
now we're in another scene. Okay.
is this what doing coke is like? Like, actually, I feel like if anything, it's probably like a Michael Bay. Not all Michael Bays, but there you can tell which Michael Bay movies he's on coke for. And like when the cuts are less than a second, those are his coke movies.
Yeah.
The average cut time is less than a second. Yeah.
Like that entire Scarecrow sequence. It was like, I gotta get some inspiration.
But Jamel?
I hadn't seen this movie since I saw it in theaters.
So 10 years.
Yeah. This movie's a freaking experience, man. For me,
Yeah.
It is like, you describe something, you called it a ride, like you could call it a roller coaster, but it's just escalating for the first like 2 hours. There's really almost nothing like that really gets in their way for so much of it. So it is just scene after scene of
I
all
guess
this
I can mention it now.
Right?
I noticed this time that at the exact halfway point of the movie is when he starts getting hit with the shit, like the consequences are starting. Coming. Like he finds out that he's being investigated and stuff like that. But for the first half, it's just uphill and them doing wild shit. The wild shit continues after the halfway point, but that's when the consequences also start. Right. But like that first half is just, if you only saw the first half of this movie, like
you were like, he did it.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I didn't feel that 3-hour runtime because there's really not a dull moment for like almost any of it. Like it's just constantly pushing everything forward, showing you some wild shit. I think it's a lot of fun. 3 hours, but for like a rainy afternoon like today, great way to spend it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we can go through it now. So film starts out with Leonardo DiCaprio throwing a small person in a look, we done got in trouble two weekends in a row.
Just do your best.
Leonardo DiCaprio throwing a small person in a Velcro suit onto a large bullseye and doing coke off a woman's ass crack. Out of a woman's ass crack, sorry. And that just sets the tone for the whole fucking movie. And then he quickly gives us the rundown about how amazing his life is, and we see how rich he is and how wild he is and how much drugs he takes. I'm not going to do his accent, because I'm not really sure what it is. But
no,
because he's from New York, but I was getting the little Boston hints in there too, and I was like,
it's a little Jersey sometimes.
Yeah, but yep, on a daily basis, I consume enough drugs to sedate Manhattan, Long Island, and Queens for a month. I take Quaaludes 10 to 15 times a day for my back pain, Adderall to stay focused, Xanax to take the edge off, pot to mellow me out, cocaine to wake me back up again, and morphine, well, because it's awesome. But of all the drugs under God's blue heaven, there's one that's my absolute favorite. Enough of this shit will make you invincible, enough to conquer the world and eviscerate your enemies. And he holds up $100 bill.
Good Lord.
Message.
Message. Then the movie takes us back to 1987 so we can see how we got here. And Jordan Belfort, starts his first day off on Wall Street as a stockbroker for R.L. Rothschild, working under Mark Hanna, played by Matthew McConaughey. And Mark Hanna kind of is who he like eventually kind of becomes, like who he wants to be and who he eventually becomes, kind of like from Anime Heads, Gurren Lagann.
That's actually very good.
And the narrator, which is Leo, He says, "You want to know what money sounds like? Go to a trading floor on Wall Street. Fuck this, shit that, cunt, cock, asshole." I couldn't believe how these guys talk to each other. I was hooked in seconds. It was like mainlining adrenaline. And so, like, for him, that's how they talked, and he loved it. I mean, people who talk like this and that aggressive, like, I can't fucking stand. But, you know.
Apparently, this movie set a new record for swears in a movie.
Really?
Taking it from Casino. So
another Scorsese movie.
That's what Scorsese does.
That's funny.
Is it messed up that I didn't even really register how foul the language is?
You were a Marine.
Yeah, true.
I once worked with this Navy dude, and I asked him, I was like, "Man, why you cuss so much?" And he was like, "Why do you fucking care?" Well, I was a sailor. And I was like, "But you not now. Like, chill. Like, you finding reasons to. I feel like you've come up with like things to say just so you can be talking and cuss. Like, you ain't saying nothing."
Got the SpongeBob dolphin sound just constantly going.
But yeah, so this is when we get, there's several iconic scenes in this movie, but the first one is this is when we get Matthew McConaughey, and it starts out with him doing that weird humming and chest beating shit. And like, you probably, if you haven't seen the movie, or you might remember, like, that's where the meme, like, you got to pump those numbers up. Funny, out of context.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, you didn't realize what he was talking about.
Right. I didn't know the lead up on that one. Those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those up. That's all I knew.
So it starts out with him doing that humming thing and doing a bump of coke, like right there, just out in the open. And Mark Hanna goes straight to the point. Everything is a fugazi. Wait, I can't even remember which is the right way to say it.
I've heard it both.
He said fugazi, and then Leo corrects him and says fugazi. It's all bullshit. Nobody knows if stocks are going to go up or down. The point is to just get your client to buy more stocks, because while the client is only rich on paper, as brokers, we get cold hard cash off commissions. So the point is to tell your client, hey, this stock's going to go up. You want to buy more. And every time they buy more, they're only rich on paper for now, but they make money off commission. So no matter, anytime they buy, regardless of what happens, the broker's going to get a cut.
That's real scammy.
I mean, yeah.
And by the way, McConaughey, that chest thump thing was apparently just a thing he does.
Yeah. That was all him. That's not Mark Hanna. That's Matthew McConaughey.
But like, apparently he just
does
that before scenes. That's just him getting focused or something.
Well, I think what was the I guess more of this movie was improvised than was written. So is like, you need to take this scene and go from A and get to B. I need you to start at A and get to B, and they would just make stuff up.
So they just let McConaughey off the leash, and he did all. And it's not just the humming thing that he threw in, but like, he's a great actor. Like, I'm sorry, like the way all that bullshit he spouted just off the top.
Like, what the fuck?
So Leo's reactions were real. Like,
he's like, he really just asked me that?
Like, because you see Jordan looking at him like, and then at some point he even looks around and be like, y'all see this shit? And he was like, come on.
Are we going to keep rolling?
He's like, yeah, just do it too.
Is that real cocaine? That was real cocaine.
That was real cocaine. $100 million.
This is his private stash. It wasn't even part of the movie.
So then he tells him the 2 keys to success is jerking off twice a day. You got to get those numbers up to get the blood pumping, and doing cocaine to stay focused.
I mean, it worked for him.
Wild shit. And then Black Monday happened, the worst day in the stock market since the big stock market crash in 1929, and the firm imploded. And Leo was out of a job.
It was like he worked really hard to get up there. He did everything the guy told him. It was working out, and it was like, nah.
But man, like, I remember, I think I watched the whole McConaughey scene just smiling, because It was just that, oh my goodness, that character. And like, yeah, he's playing a real person, but I mean, this is based on a true, I know you can't see me,
Right.
podcast land, but I'm doing air quotes, based on a true story thing. So they took liberties, obviously, and just letting McConaughey be McConaughey was
McConaughey turned to Scorsese. Hey, Marty, are we done? I'm gonna go try that jacking off thing for real.
You know,
like
it makes
right
a lot
now.
of sense.
But like not in front of nobody, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh,
McConaughey comes in here, steals this scene, turns around. Doesn't he steal the Best Actor from right under him this year?
This year, is this the
Dallas Buyers Club?
Dallas Buyers, yeah.
So just
dang.
Just moonwalked out.
Do you think like in the audience at the Academy Awards that year when he won, like in Leo's head, this scene started playing with McConaughey winking at him and beating his chest? Like, motherfucker. Oh man. But yeah, so as a result, Jordan didn't believe anybody was hiring for stockbrokers, but his wife found an ad for a firm out in Long Island that sold penny stocks. So he gets on board with them, and this is when we see the first director cameo, not cameo, but part. Well, this is a cameo, but first director in the movie, Spike Jonze, as the dude who runs the penny stock firm, which I didn't catch watching it because, as we said before we started recording, every time we see Spike Jonze, he looks different. And you could point any white man out, tall, skinny white man out to me, and be like, "That's Spike Jonze," and be like, "All right."
That's a singer from the Strokes right there.
Credit where credit is due. I didn't realize it until I watched rewatched the Honest trailer. So thanks, Screen.
Yeah.
I remember I used to watch a lot of Desus and Mero when they were on Vice, and like sometimes he'd pop in, and every time he popped in, I'd be like, "Oh, that's Spike Jonze, huh?" Anyway,
oh, that's what he looks like.
Yeah,
that's the guy from the Beastie Boys video.
So he gets on board with them, and he ends up making a ton of money because instead of the 1% commission that he made on Wall Street, the penny stocks got him 50% commission because the share prices were so low. Like penny stocks are just stocks that trade for under $1, right? A share. So because the shares were so low, I guess the commission had to be more, and then it was less regulated too. So he got the town because he was a great salesman.
And because the people he's selling to just don't really know.
Yeah, they also weren't like rich people who knew a lot. They were just trying to get in, because Spike Jonze said that their ad ran in like Hustler magazine or whatever, so they got like a lot of like blue collar workers, and it literally said "Get rich quick." So yeah.
See, like people will point at this movie and say, they're glorifying this lifestyle and everything. It's like, without beating you over the head with it.
If you stop before the halfway point,
right? No, but in this stretch right here, we're seeing just how much of a bastard he is. Like, he's taking advantage of the little guy. People like us who don't have thousands and thousands of dollars to invest in the stock market.
Yeah,
his wife at this point, Kristen Milioti, who she's really good in this movie, doesn't get a ton to do, but she helps him find the job.
Yep,
not thanked at all. Later on, you'll see her kind of point out.
She has one really good scene later on. Yeah.
But I think she's good in all her scenes, and just not the kind of.
But I mean,
like
really
recognized for.
She has a scene that would have been that like the Oscar clip scene.
Yeah.
If she did get nominated, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah. Shout out. I already forgot how to say her name. Sorry. We said Kristen. I don't want to butcher it.
I think it's Milioti.
Milioti. Okay. Yeah, she's good. I've seen her on other things.
What's the movie, the Loop movie from a couple years ago? Palm Springs?
Palm Springs, yeah. Was that her?
Oh,
yeah,
she was the main girl?
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, so next we see Jordan eating breakfast at a diner with his new yellow Jaguar parked outside. And he's approached by a guy who lives in his building, Donnie Azoff, played by Jonah Hill. And fucking Donnie, oh my God. Very quickly, you realize what type of character Donnie is. Donnie's super nosy and abrasive and wants to know how much Jordan makes. And when he finds out, he said he quit his job on the spot. So seriously, how much do you make? I told you I made 70,000 last month. Well, technically 72,000, something like that. You made 72 grand in 1 month? Yeah. I tell you what, you show me a pay stub for 72,000 on it, I quit my job right now and I work for you. And so Jordan does. So Jordan shows him the pay stub, and it cuts to them outside on a payphone. And Jonah Hill's on the payphone and he's quitting his job. Hey, Polly, what's up? No, everything's fine. Hey, listen, I quit.
Just
right there. And he did quit his job, which I thought was a little weird. I just met the fucking guy. And then you hear Jonah Hill go, "Don't fucking tell Susan. It's none of her business." He's talking about his wife, right?
I think so.
And then you hear Jordan go, "There were other things about him too, like his phosphorescent white teeth, the fact that he wore horn rims with clear lenses just to look more waspy. And then there were the rumors." And then it cuts to them in a bar with Donnie explaining to Jordan that he married his cousin and had 2 kids. And
that whole situation was like, are you supposed to just be this blasé about it?
Look, it was so funny because
I'm not going to have some other guy fucking my hot cousin.
Like, yeah,
like, what?
Where he goes like, "Just kidding," but then he only says "just kidding" for like a part of the story.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, he really did marry his cousin. But his logic was, I'm not just gonna have other guys mess with my hot cousin.
What the fuck?
Nigga, what?
And real quick, dude, the 72,000 a month, and that's in like late 80s money.
Yeah.
That is obscene.
Yeah.
72 a month now, and I'm like, I would the same thing. Yeah, quit my job, I work for you now. Like, but I don't know what the fucking exchange rate is with the inflation.
I know eggs weren't $5 a tray back then. Fucking chicken wings weren't $13. I know that.
God damn.
But
I know they gave you the whole wing back then. The drummies and flat. No, give me. I want the little ugly thing too. Give me all the whole wing. What are y'all talking about?
Cough drops were $6 for a pack of 12. Fuck. Anyway, so immediately after the married my cousin thing, Jonah's like, hey, you want to smoke some crack? Smoke some fucking crack with me, bro. And he was like, 1 hit. Fucking knuckleheads. Smoke some fucking crack with me, bro. So these 2 idiots started their own company out of an old auto body shop, and Jordan hired his friends as stockbrokers because they had sales experience. Sea Otter, who sold meat and weed, meat man. Chester, who sold tires and weed. And Robbie, who sold anything he could get his hands on, mostly weed. And Brad just got really wanted. He didn't go along with the rest of us. He made so much money selling Quaaludes, he became known as the Quaalude King of Bayside. That's John Bernthal.
Yeah,
like that seems like fine. Like,
right?
Come on, man.
Which is funny. I didn't realize at first that like he wasn't a stockbroker, because you never even see him on the stock floor.
Nope.
The trading floor. We don't see him till later on, till we find out what a rat hole is. Yeah, or unless they were just like out like celebrating or something, then he's there. But yeah,
but he's still living with his mom.
Yeah, he was still living with his mom, and
that whole scene was cute because he very much was. He had a very silent, Jay and Silent Bob feel to that whole
like
thing.
The kids go to his house, buy drugs from him in his backyard. He tells them to say hi to your sister for me. And they leave, and then he's like, "Hey, Mom, what's for dinner?"
I was like, chicken.
Oh man. And then after Brad comes smartest one of the bunch was Nicky Koskoff. He actually went to law school. I called him Rugrat because of his piece of shit hairpiece. Still, give them to me young, hungry, and stupid, and in no time I'll make him rich. Man, because he was teaching them how to sell, or his way of selling, which was, the dick bag way. I mean, it was effective too, yes. I learned working at a car dealership that the better the salesman, the worse the human.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, like if you just went to a car dealership, right, and you see the dude who looks well put together, well dressed, sometimes he might approach you, because they usually can spot people and kind of get a feel if they're about to spend some money. It's like, oh, this person looks broke, I'm not going to talk to him. But that's the dude who, like, the better the salesman, worse the human. You don't want to be with that person. Look for the guy who has his shirt halfway untucked. He's struggling. If you don't get the sale, he's about to be fired. Like, he'll treat you nice. Like, he still has to get his commission and everything. But
in sheep's clothing.
They'd have to accept what I'm saying as fact, though. They'd have to accept that they're a shitty person, and then they're preying on. It's a whole thing. It's easy to just be an asshole and be like, I promise, you buy this car, they'll give you free car washes. Come to find out, they don't give free car wash. Anyway.
I got a guy that got me like that. I mean, we didn't come out that bad because I like my van, but he was like, anything you need, extra key, clean up the car, we'll do an oil change, like all that stuff. No, we didn't get none of that stuff. And then when he found out that we weren't going through their financing, we were going through our bank's financing and just paying them all in one lump sum, he sucked his teeth the whole rest of the time. He like doing way work.
Look, all those like little things, if you don't notice already, like, that's how the dealership makes extra money off you. Like, if you're going through their financing, if you put money down goes straight into their fucking pockets. Man, like, so go, like, if you're getting a car finance, don't put any money down. Even if you have the extra money that you would have put down, wait, get the car, and then add it on to your bill when you start paying the bill. Don't put it down. Because the way they finagle how that payment's structured, that money down is going right in their pockets.
As soon as I started to hear about that, every commercial where it's like, no money down, I subconsciously heard, because we don't even need to do that.
Yeah, because we don't even do that. It's like they're getting a tip with the money down. Yeah. But yeah, so Jordan's methods help turn his pump and dump scheme, in which misleading positive statements inflate the stock's price so it can be sold at an artificially high price into a success. And when the scheme's perpetrators sell their overvalued securities, the price plummets. And those who were conned into buying at the inflated price are left, with stock that is suddenly so much more worthless, right?
Yep.
Or at least worth less than they paid for it.
Absolutely.
And so to cloak all of that BS, Jordan gives the company a more respectable sounding name, Stratton Oakmont. And then soon after, the company moves out of the auto body shop and into an actual office space. And this is also when they're making so much money that they're having like weekly office shenanigans.
I would have had to quit.
Like that.
Look, even in my 20s, I'd have been like, well,
look, I don't know. I feel like the first time like a stripper like sat on my desk or something, like that would be like, like, I don't know where you've been. I'm sorry. Like, I gotta clean this. Like, and we gotta do this every Friday. Like,
I've been like,
I mean, I'm a little weird. I understand. I
feel like if you're the kind of person who would quit over that, you're not the kind of person
who
wouldn't have got the job
hired in the first place.
Yeah, wouldn't have got the job.
You're right.
I'm like, hey,
you probably have to do a line with them in the interview.
I mean, we literally see in one scene them lined up to bang the same hooker, just lined up with their pants down in the office.
There's a point at which a lady like walks in, she like drops everything but her panties, and like one guy's like kind of dancing with her, and like they start to kiss, and homeboy from My Name Is Earl grabs the woman from that guy, kicks him over, turns her around and puts her on a desk like, no, this was mine. This belonged to me.
I'm glad you brought him up because he was one of the only people in the movie, not only people, but he's one of the people who I recognized in the movie that wasn't a big name, but he was in a lot of scenes. Motherfucker had 2 lines.
Right. And one of them was, it's a boat, not a schooner.
Remember that? Oh man. Yeah, so Forbes did an expose of the company, and Jordan got called the Wolf of Wall Street. Like, that's where it came from. And this brought in more people to work for the firm, but it also got the FBI to start snooping around. Jordan also brought in his dad as, what they call him, an enforcer or something?
Which seems like, what?
He was
Are you
like the only voice of reason in the building, pretty much. Jordan,
And
why
they
are you doing
ignored
this?
him.
Why are you spending so much?
Also, there's his first wife, again, being smart and supportive. Hey, no such thing as bad publicity. Next day, he gets all these other people coming in to work with him. She is right every time she's on screen.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that the first time around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's setting it up for when he screws her over.
Yeah. Also, spoilers.
She is also really cute.
Yeah.
So it's like, you got a lot going on here. She knows what's up. She's doing you good, and you're just
whole piece of shit.
You just sitting on coke, going hooray.
But yeah, Mad Max.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what they called his dad, Mad Max. So next we get the company party at the beach house where we see them continue to wild out. This is wild. And we get a Quaalude explanation, which, did you know what Quaaludes were before this?
I'd heard of them, but obviously didn't know that much.
Yeah, I didn't know in 2013. Now, since then, now I know that was Bill Cosby's anyway, we're not going to get into it.
You see,
but it's funny because then in the movie they explained that they stopped making them at some point, so like they became rarer and rarer. And at some point, like, I mean, we'll get to it. No point.
Like, does no one have the recipe for Quaaludes?
No, apparently not.
What other Schedule 1 narcotic can people not buy?
Hey, let's not get too inventive with the idea of replicating the recipe, because we already have too many breweries and distilleries popping up everywhere. Last thing we need is like, bespoke Quaaludes.
I'm just saying, there's a market for it. It's surprising that someone isn't filling it.
I mean, but it was a rich person drug, so like, I mean, not that Quaaludes was that popular to begin with, but that's probably why.
Come on down to the new Quaalude Emporium. Those are rookie numbers. And get your fill on brand new bespoke Quaaludes. No, don't do that.
So, yeah, the Quaalude, the explanation. And then Naomi, played by Margot Robbie, enters the movie, who he soon after starts to have an affair with, right? He falls for her hard and starts ignoring his wife, and eventually we get the scene with Jordan doing coke off of Naomi's boobs in the back of a car, and then his wife rips open the door and catches him. And
flagrant.
This is when we get the scene that I was talking about that she should have got her little reward for. That's where you fucking been? With that whore from the party? Who the fuck are you, Jordan? You're like a completely different person. And he's like, I felt horrible. 3 days later, I filed for divorce and I moved Naomi into the apartment.
Point of no return.
Yep. Oh, man.
It's too bad it wasn't me. It wasn't out yet. He could have just played Shaggy for her and she'd have been like, wait a second. Okay. But
honey caught me red-handed doing coke off of the off the titties of a whore.
It was me. I mean, shit.
So yeah, so then the movie starts moving at an insane pace. Is this the first movie
I saw Margot Robbie in?
I think so. I think this was her first American. Well, I don't know for sure if it was her first American, but it was her first
earliest things.
It was her first big American movie.
I feel like this is what put her on the map.
Yeah, I think she might, because she started out in an Australian soap opera or something, and over here, if she was in anything before this, it was small.
I've heard her Australian accent in like one movie. I forget that she's Australian, but yeah, I'm pretty sure this is what put her on the map here, because she just shows up and looks amazing, acts amazing. She's great.
I didn't like her, but we're gonna leave that alone.
Okay, no other comments.
What's that actress from My Name Is Earl that she looks almost the same?
Jamie Presley. It's Margot Robbie, Jamie Presley, Samara Weaving, and there's the one that looks almost exactly like Jamie Presley.
Did you ever see the Jamie Presley? There's a picture of Jamie Presley and Margot Robbie meeting for the first time, and they just both look a little too freaked out.
Yeah.
Look, like, no, that's too much.
So how come Jamie Presley couldn't put it together? She was out here, putting in work. She had the look. She just couldn't.
My theory is the accent, which isn't against her. I think she just played that character too many times.
I think once you're in a movie like Can't Hardly Wait, it's hard to like climb the ladder.
Yeah,
I can't think of anybody from Can't Hardly Wait that like went on to gigantic things. Like really, it's unfortunate.
I didn't see it.
I mean, also, Hollywood sexist. Maybe she had what it took, but they gave it to somebody else. So yeah, the movie starts moving at an insane pace, and like every 1 to 2 minutes there was another scene, and almost all played for comedy. I mean, I guess this is a comedy.
Yeah.
So we meet the gay butler Nicholas, then Naomi coming home to him having an orgy in their apartment, then them beating him up and hanging him off the balcony because $50,000 went missing from Jordan's sock drawer. We learn what a rat hole is, which is someone that they like a friend he uses to like hold money or whatever in their name. Which was what he was using Brad for, John Bernthal.
So he's the one who keeps the stock in his name while they're doing their pump and dump scheme.
Yeah. Stratton Oakmont getting investigated by the SEC and the FBI while they continue to do shady shit. Or the FBI starting, but we see like the SEC, like them like being assholes to them. Then Jordan proposes to Naomi, the bachelor orgy trip to Vegas. He said it costed him $2 million because he flew like all his dudes out and 50 hookers and
And he also had to refurnish an entire floor.
Of the hotel.
Which I think would cost more.
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah, that's probably the main thing is of the $2 million, and then the second expense probably being flights and hotel rooms, then the hookers. Or I don't know how much cocaine costs. Who knows? Anyway. And then them buying the yacht named Naomi and the mansion in Long Island. So we fast forward 18 months, and he stays in Sauce with his wife Naomi now because of his fuckery. And then we get the infamous no panties scene, which
yes,
I don't gotta explain it because I feel like if you're here with us at this point, either you've seen the movie or you've at least seen this scene. Because he's in trouble, so she's like, "Well, no sex, but I ain't gonna wear no panties around the house, and I'm gonna flash you all the time." And he's hurting, but then he's like, "Oh, there's a camera and a teddy bear, and our security guards, Rocco and Rocco, just saw your goodies." Rocco and Rocco. Yeah.
Scene right before that too, where she's angry. First of all, the switch from her before he married her till after is just great. From
Oh yeah. Yeah. Not saying that like she did anything wrong, because now they're married and like she has to deal with this shit all the time and she's sick of it.
When she's the other woman, all the fuckery is fine. But
but now she's the wife, and it's just like who the fuck is Venice?
I feel like you should have seen it coming, man.
He was treating that water like holy water, like it was burning him. Like
It's funny. She just had it wasn't a bucket. It was a glass. She'd go glass, come back and throw it on him again.
He's so angry about it.
He was so mad. Every time she threw water on him, he'd get so God damn it. That was actually really funny, that scene.
That was great.
But then we see the Steve Madden IPO speech, and it's funny. I didn't realize that was I can't remember his name. I just call him Silicon Valley. It starts out with Donnie eating Silicon Valley's goldfish.
Man, like
him.
That was
got like
also rough.
Yeah.
Thomas Middleditch.
Yeah, that dude. He's perpetually going to play that character, but it's all right. He's making money.
He's got nerd face. I don't know what
to
say.
Yeah.
And a bow tie.
Sometimes they break out of that, like Jesse Eisenberg kind of did. I mean, he always plays like that weird.
The throat.
But yeah. Anyway, the IPO speech. So he hypes up all his brokers to sell the Steve Madden IPO to their clients, and Jordan underhandedly owned 1 million of the 2 million shares, so he made $22 million in 3 hours.
Wild.
Yeah. if you don't know what IPO is, initial public offering. So like when a company goes public for the first time and then they set like, okay, this is how much a share is going to cost or whatever. And usually when that happens, people are usually excited from it. So like the price of the share goes up super fast because people are, they're hopping on board.
You've already spent more time explaining it than the movie did.
You're right, because he starts to explain it and then he's like, you don't need to know that.
He does it too many times. It's a good joke, but it's just like, so here's the techno. You know what? Fuck it. This is what happened. I'm like, well, I wanted to know. Now I gotta look. Now I gotta do homework for the movie. I'm like looking on my phone. What is an IPO and how does it work?
You okay, Jamel?
No, well, because I asked that earlier, and y'all were like, "Nah, you don't need to explain more." And now you're like, "I did want them to explain more."
Well, like
Tim said he wanted them to explain
in the
more.
midst of it, I very much was like, "Well, damn." But like after he like got on a roll, it was like, "Yeah, fuck it. What do I need to know?"
Mm-hmm.
That was Tim. I'm the one who said the other thing.
It's on wax.
I'm laughing.
It's all good.
He's got a way of talking, and it's by saying as little as possible and making me feel good about myself.
Side note: this is the exact halfway point of the movie.
Oh yeah.
So Jordan gets word that the FBI contacted his wedding videographer, and this spooks him. Eventually, they make their way directly to him, and Jordan sets up a meeting on his yacht. And in the meeting, Jordan flaunts his wealth. He's super defensive and he deflects and shit. And even he low-key tries to bribe the FBI agents.
I know what you're talking about. I ain't hear no bribe.
Oh yeah. The one asks him to repeat his bribe just as he said, and Jordan explains the law to them and how like what he said wasn't admissible in court. And then he kicks him off his yacht.
I kind of wish we got more Kyle Chandler in this too. He was really good.
I thought we had the right amount of Kyle Chandler
in the spots we had.
Like I like that we got his. I don't want to call it a payoff, but we got his moment at the end where, because on the yacht he says that, like Jordan's talking about how rich he is and how nice everything is, and he's like, wow, this is really nice. I wear the same suit 3 times a week, and I think about things like this while I'm sitting on the subway sweating my balls off. And so at the end of the movie, we get him sitting on the subway looking around at all the normal people. And I don't know if I read that like properly, because he doesn't smile or anything.
Well, he's got the sheet, showing you did it.
Yeah, you did it.
He's just sitting there like,
you're still sitting there like,
huh, well,
absolutely thankless job.
Yeah.
And did any of these people actually get helped by what he did?
Absolutely. I think that's a big part of it. Is like nobody on the subway is gonna really feel that.
Yeah.
Not the people on the subway, but there were people that like they could prove got screwed over that got some money, but it definitely probably wasn't as much money as they like lost.
Right.
Because it was like 2 million split between however many people, But yeah, so that you're right. That is how I would read it. It's just like I did all this shit and I'm still sitting here. And like that is what Jordan said, or I forgot who said it, but like, I think he said it. I do all this stuff and I only make 70,000 a year and I sweat my balls off on the subway.
Did y'all saw Lord of War, right?
Yeah, is that Nicolas?
Oh, it's
that's
been
Nicolas
a really
Cage.
long time.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage and it's Ethan Hawke. I kind of felt that kind of vibe between Jordan and Dunham.
Like there is like a part of him somewhere in there that like that wanted it or like envied him just a little bit.
Yeah,
but
at the end of the day, he's a Boy Scout and he's going to do his job. The movie is white collar Goodfellas, but just their dynamic made me think of Lord of War.
I can see that.
Yeah. So the FBI thing spooked Jordan, and so he comes up with the scheme to hide his money in a Swiss bank account. So he plans a trip to Geneva to set things up, but he gets way too fucked up off of Quaaludes leading up to the flight, and on the flight he goes bananas and assaults a flight attendant and just wild shit. Like I ain't even about to explain all of it. It was really fast anyway. But this conversation is what took me the fuck out, because he wakes up and he has like the seatbelt extenders tied around him to keep him secure to the seat. And he's like, Donnie, Donnie, this isn't funny. You got to untie me, buddy. And Donnie's sitting next to him. I can't untie you. The captain tied you up. He almost fucking tasered you. Why? And then we get the flashback of him like humping on the flight attendants and shit. And yeah, he's like, you were screaming at people. He's like, oh, fuck off. And he's like, you were on the floor rolling around and shit. Oh, Jesus. You called the captain the N-word. I called the captain the N-word? Yeah, he was very upset. Really? Luckily, we're in first class. Jesus Christ. I think you have a fucking drug problem. And this is coming from Donnie, his partner in crime.
From the crackhead.
I didn't mention this, but like
when the literal crackhead says you have a drug problem.
The little crack, you're right.
He's
you
like,
want to smoke crack with me?
He took you behind a building to smoke crack, and he's looking at you like, sad.
Donnie got high off of Quaaludes at that pool party or whatever when Naomi shows up, and like simultaneously while like Jordan's looking at her, falling in love. Donnie is pulling his dick out and starts fapping, and his wife runs in like, what the fuck?
His cousin wife. In front of like 100 people.
Yeah, the whole company.
Straight up jerking it. It's
just gooning.
This is even the only time he pulls out his dick in front of the company. So
nope.
You're correct. That's the only time we see it though.
The only time we see it. Man, yeah, so yeah, this is coming from Donnie. He's like, Jesus Christ, I think you might have a drug problem.
And then he goes, fucked up person is like, hey man,
you
need some help.
Get help.
Also, I think he was joking. Like a part of him was like enjoying it. Jordan's like, where are the lewds? The lewds. He's like, they're up my ass. Don't worry about it. Oh, thank God.
My God.
See, this time I really got to appreciate how fucking funny this movie was. It was, oh my goodness. But yeah, so in Geneva, Jordan meets with Rugrats' college friend, Jean-Jacques Sorel, a crooked banker who low-key lets him know that if he sets up a Swiss bank account through someone else's name, then the U.S. can never touch his money in Switzerland. So he meets with Naomi's British aunt in London that we met earlier at, like, I think their wedding or whatever.
Yeah, the
and he gets her to agree to be his rat hole in a very funny scene. Because, like, they're talking on a bench in the park or some shit. And he's like, we hear his thoughts. And he's like, is she hitting on me? And then we hear her thoughts when he starts, like, leading into it. And she goes, is he hitting on me? And then he kisses her. And she kind of pushes him off like, nah, let's do this for family.
Yeah, family first, my bro.
I think the cut here, we go straight from like them on the bench, I think, to
boning
him fucking Naomi on the bed covered in money.
Yeah.
But before you realize it's Naomi, I thought it was.
I was like, bruh.
That's funny. Also, I read that Leo was so nervous doing this kissing scene with this old lady that he fucked it up and they had to do it 27 times.
Holy shit.
Man, so she's way older than 25 too.
That's why.
Which actually, now you mentioned, I think Margot Robbie was 25 when she was.
Fun fact: nobody knows how old she is, or not nobody, but there's a whole thing about her lying about her age because people like when I say she was on some Australian soap opera or whatever, like whatever it was huge amongst like college age kids or something. Like it was huge over there.
All right,
and then she came over here, blew up. And they were like, oh, she's only 20 whatever. And then the folks who knew her from the soap opera was like, hey, that math ain't mathin'. I can't do an Australian accent, but that, yeah. So there's a whole thing about it.
Just throw a mic on the end.
What'd you say?
Just throw a mic on the end.
Mate.
That math ain't... Never
mate.
Mind. Cut this.
The math isn't mathin', mate.
Oh, add mate on the end. I thought you were saying Mike. You're saying something's wrong with my mic. Our mic.
Wow.
Australians down here, but if you want to make New Zealand, you put it in your nose and make everything a question.
That ain't bad.
Oh man. So yeah, then they get Brad's Slovenian stripper's wife and her family to help. Yeah, because this came out of nowhere. They get Brad's Slovenian stripper wife and her family to help smuggle the cash to Switzerland because they all had European passports. But wait, there's more. Donnie needed some money brought over too, and he's sitting in the room when they're trying to figure out how they're going to like get the money over. Brad and Donnie hate each other because Donnie.
They hate each other in such a way. If you were to be around them and say, "Oh God, guys, get a room," they'd both beat you up.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
I get it.
Yeah,
Donnie's
yeah. Oh,
hateable.
yeah. You definitely get it. This is the first time that you really see it because they don't really interact before this.
Visceral.
But like it is as soon as he opens his mouth, you see John Bernthal like this motherfucker. And of course, the first thing he says is some wild shit like, "Oh yeah, I need you to do this too." But the way he was talking was as if he was like, "You work for me," and so John was like, or Brad was like, "Yeah, look." He pulls Jonathan to the side. He's like, "Look, I don't work for him. I like no. He's the way he's talking to me is as if I don't work for him." And then fucking Donnie says, like Brad's wife says the same thing. Like, "I don't work for you." And Donnie goes, "You have my money taped to your tits. You work for me." And man, look. So they go out, so they take it outside, and of course, I said Jordan. Jordan's talking to Brad, like he's trying to calm him down. And we don't see it, but Donnie's like listening in by the door, and Brad calls him like an asshole or something like that. Freaking Donnie runs out with his shiny ass white teeth. He's like, don't you fucking call me that. And mind you, Brad is jacked as shit. Donnie is not, but Donnie is such an arrogant asshole that he thinks he could just run out and talk to him any way he wants. John Bernthal punched the fuck out of out of Jonah Hill. And you said he actually hit him?
That's what, damn it. I don't know the video I saw, but yeah, at least rumor is that he decked him for real.
Because they like he was really annoying him on set.
I bet.
Yeah, I bet too. That's funny.
And again, I get it.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, like because in the movie he knocks him out. Like he knocks him out cold. Oh man.
And that's why he has fake teeth.
I thought the crack was why he had fake teeth.
I didn't even think about that. That's why he got fluorescent. He said phosphorescent. That's why he got phosphorescent white teeth. It was because he done smoked his teeth off.
Oh God.
Donnie, the only white man addicted to crack in
the 80s too. You get ahead of the game.
You will smoke some crack with me.
He was so like willing to share. Like, come on.
Oh my God. So yeah, so then at the money drop, eventually, like, Brad agrees to do it. At the money drop, Donnie goes to meet Brad to hand off the briefcase full of money, but he shows up swerving, and then he pretends that he was high, and Brad's like, "Jesus fucking Christ, you couldn't hold it together for one fucking day." And he was like, "Surprise, I'm not high." And like Brad is like, "What the fuck?" He goes to fight him. And so like they tussle or whatever, the briefcase drops open, $2 million in cash falls out. And of course, the cop is watching all this shit.
Yeah.
The cop car swings in. Donnie hops in a car and speeds the fuck off, and Brad gets caught literally holding the bag.
Like, bro, just sloppy.
And it was all fucking Donnie's fault. All he had to do was show up and give him the briefcase. That's all he had to do. But he's like, "No, I'm gonna fuck with them instead." And he knew he fucked up because the next scene. So Donnie brings some super strong but super rare Quaaludes, some lemons that were like discontinued from like 1980 something or whatever.
81, I think.
Yeah. And to Jordan, and like he's so excited about it because Donnie knows he fucked up, and Jordan hasn't found out about Brad. So he gets him the super rare thing. And I don't exactly know what his end game was, if he was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna give him these super rare Quaaludes and he's gonna be so happy about him, he's not gonna be mad at me."
Yeah, he's gonna butter him up.
Yeah.
You're not getting it. This man fucking loves Quaaludes.
No, like the whole Quaaludes thing, the way he says it, I was like, this guy's excited.
This is the primo
because
shit.
in this scene is when you really understand how much he loves Quaaludes. Like he said, he cleared his schedule. He did everything to make sure he wouldn't get too.
He throws up in the toilet.
He takes an enema just to like clean the system out for him to take his Quaaludes.
Just what the hell?
Like nothing. You all right, man?
Nah, I'm dying.
Need some water?
Need some lubes.
And now you're on a list.
Can interfere with this high. This is what's supposed to be 3 times stronger than the normal shit.
Yeah.
The fuck? I just looked this up. Most Quaaludes are marked 300, and the lemons are marked 714, like he said.
Oh shit.
If that has anything to do with strength, that's not something you probably should be taking multiples of.
And they take so fucking many.
It's so bad.
So they he clears our schedule. They take one each because they said, yeah, we only need one because it's so potent. But then nothing happens. Like they're watching like Steve Urkel and shit. Like it ain't working. So they take more.
Hold on, it just hit me. What's happening in that Family Matters clip?
Oh no, this is matched up on purpose.
They're in a hot air balloon and they want the balloon to go down. And Urkel was like,
he pulls the thing once. Like, all right, maybe twice he'll go there. He just keeps.
And they keep rising.
The whole thing is matched up. Yeah. You're exactly right.
And then what's on TV lines up again and like at the end of the scene.
Help me out.
Disco biscuits.
I'll get to it.
Oh my god.
Sorry, did you say disco biscuits?
That's one of the slang names for the Quaaludes.
That has to be from like England or something.
You would think.
Disco biscuits.
So then Naomi comes and tells Jordan that his private investigator, Bo Dietl, was on the
gimmicks.
Huh?
That's a real guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's playing himself. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that he was playing himself.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Which is also funny because his 2013 stuff was playing his early 90s self.
Yeah.
So
I mean, just fuck it. So Bo Dietl was on the phone and he tells him he needs him to call him back from a payphone immediately. So Jordan rushes over to the nearest one, which is at a country club less than a mile away from his house, right? And on the phone, Bo tells him that Brad got arrested and the FBI agent has his house and work phones tapped. Then Bo asked him if he tried to bribe the agent. And that's when all the Quaaludes Jordan took kicks in at once. And he said that like the Quaaludes were so old that like the fuse was off, but when they hit, they still hit. Immediately Bo was like, what the fuck are you saying? Because he couldn't understand. Like
he just dropped into gibberish.
Yeah. Like it wasn't even
that Bruce Almighty scene.
What comes after slur? Like he was past slurring his words. And he's like, Jordan, are you fucking high? But Jordan's already like on another plane of existence. And then you hear like the narration say, like, I skipped the tingle phase and went straight to the drool phase. Matter of fact, I discover a whole new phase, the cerebral palsy phase. And he's like just on the ground, like convulsing.
God damn it.
Yeah, then Jordan literally drags himself. This is another iconic scene. He drags himself to his Lamborghini. And I didn't even realize that like when the camera changes positions, the amount of steps would change. Mm-hmm. So like when it was at the bottom of the steps, it was like 20 steps.
It's like 5 steps
it's
for real.
5 steps.
Whenever we see it from his perspective, it's like 20, 30. Like.
So he drags himself into the Lamborghini, and as soon as he gets in, the phone's ringing, and he manages to answer the phone, and it's his wife, and she's like,
Donnie's.
Yeah, Donnie's on the other line on the phone, and he's talking to Switzerland, but he's fucked up and he's crazy, and like Jordan's trying to say get him off the phone, but the Quaaludes hitting. I'm off the phone. I'm off the phone.
Jonah Hill always has to play the guy who fucks everything up.
Hey, new characterization. We got one for Leo, and now we got one for
Leo's the guy who always trying to get away with some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? This is like the more fucked up version of Catch Me If You Can, right? Just with the fraud.
Yeah. He's a lot more of a jerk to the FBI agent.
Right?
And flight attendants.
They wouldn't have made Tom Hanks go through this.
Oh, man. But yeah, so he drives home extremely slow. And as a viewer, we see him get there, and Leonardo's narration says that by some miracle, made it there without a single scratch on the car. So he gets in the house, and Naomi's snapping on him because he's high, and Donnie's high, and Jordan's slurring, trying to tell him to get off the phone. And then they start having this slow motion fight because they're both fucking high, and he's trying to he's tangled in the phone cord and shit.
I can't imagine having to be completely sober while these two people flip out.
I mean, this whole thing is just so fucking... Like, the stakes are super high.
Yes.
But it's so fucking stupid. Yeah, I couldn't keep it together.
So then Jonah pulls away from him, and he stands up, and he just shoves some bread in his mouth.
It was ham.
It was ham?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they had a charcuterie board or something. He shoves ham in his mouth.
Just
and
random lunch meat.
Starts fucking choking because he's too goddamn high to chew right.
I don't want to say I know where Jordan was coming from, but there was that look in his eyes for a minute where it was
where he was just let
I'm supposed to get my friend off the floor, keep her from dying here, but
yeah, he thought
a lot
about
of problems will get fixed.
He was really looking at
she's like, "What are you doing?"
She was like, "He's got Jordan doing something. He's got fucking children." He's like, and then that's when he sees the TV and it's Popeye the Sailor Man, and he eats the spinach. And so Jordan's like, he's high as shit, but that gave him the idea of oh, I need my spinach. So what does he do? He pulls open a drawer, pulls out the first aid kit, and in the first aid kit, because first aid, he's choking. What's he get? A vial of cocaine.
Nope.
And he snorts the shit. He jumps up. He literally can stand up straight now. And he goes and he starts pounding on Donnie's chest, and then eventually he coughs up the ham right in his fucking face.
Gross.
Yeah. He even tries to give him mouth to mouth at some point.
Yeah.
You just blowing that further in. Right? That's not how that works. You just trying everything. I get it.
So he saves Donnie's life, and then he immediately blacks out on a couch. And then he gets woken up by the cops. And turns out he didn't make it home without getting a scratch on the car.
This was hilarious.
Man, the way that Lamborghini was fucked up.
It folded up.
I think I about died in the theater when we cut back to what really happened. It's just...
If you didn't drive the car...
He hits everything.
Yes.
He hits literally everything.
As soon as
Two golf carts, 5 other cars, every
As soon as it backed up the first time, he remembering it the way it really happened. When it backs up, I was like, "Oh my god, this is about to be ridiculous!" Because it just smashes into the car behind him.
Everything that wasn't nailed down, he hit. I mean, even stuff that he hit a mailbox. But yeah, so the cops took him in for questioning, but they couldn't prove that he drove the car. Man, he paid him off. Somebody paid him off.
No,
that's just basic rich people shit. Innocent until proven guilty. The way things are supposed to work.
I mean, he did say they couldn't technically prove I drove the car, so we just kind of let things go. AKA, what if there was something in your hand to make you stop thinking about the ticket in your other hand?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
He even paid the cops off at another part in the movie when they
just straight up paid him off.
Yeah.
Didn't he pay him? Did he practically pay him to beat up the poor gay guy?
Yeah. He said that he gave him $1,000 each to overlook that they beat him up, and then they said and then the cops beat him up.
I kind of thought that was just random homophobia, but
yeah, that was very much the mid '80s homophobia.
Yeah, he paid them to overlook that he beat him up, and then they beat him up probably because they were homophobic.
When dude just walked across the office and decked him in the face, though, that was like, oh shit. And then we glossed over Jonah's whole part in that scene where he's probably bi, but can't admit it. So he's at the gay club.
He's like, yeah, my cousin's gay.
Mm.
And then like the other guys are
I think the butler said that he's seen him at the whatever club. Yeah. And
he's like, I don't know, I just get fucked up and I do shit.
Everyone's looking at him like, all right.
It's great though, because that's like
the
third time in the movie where he just says some wild stuff just casually.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's also his thing. He's like, that's how
he's good in this movie. He really is.
So yeah. So we learned that Brad got 3 months for contempt because he wouldn't rat out Donnie.
That's a bro.
And Jordan Dad convinces him to leave Stratton to try and keep him out of the prison by working out a deal with the FEC or whatever. But this asshole changed his mind while giving his goodbye speech. And if he had left, then the FBI probably wouldn't have been able to like prosecute him further or something like that. But because Jordan stayed, they can move forward and easily go after him.
Just not smart.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't have been worth it, but yeah. But hey, pride goes before the fall, right?
Yeah. Like he literally, like you see the change happen. Like he's about to say goodbye and he's really sad. And he's like, but that would be giving up. And I'm not going to give up. I'm not leaving. Oh, man.
The story with the, I forget her, Kimmy, whatever the lady.
Yeah.
That part actually, I thought was pretty affecting, you know.
Yeah, but she got arrested too, then, so.
Surely. You know, he hooked her up
she was loud.
$25,000 and helped change her whole life and, you know, turn her into an absolute monster like he was. Mm-hmm. But up until you realize, like, the implication of what it is they do, you know?
Yes.
But yeah, so the Stratton brokers were getting subpoenaed left and right, but nobody cracked. That shit was funny. He's like, I don't remember. You gonna eat that? No, I don't remember. Then Jordan and Donnie took their wives on a yacht to Italy to shadow run the company. From there, then they learned that Steve Madden was unloading shares once he learned that Jordan was in some legal trouble. And that's because even though Jordan owned 85% of the shares for the Steve Madden company, they were all in Madden's name. So he was able to do that. So he was like losing his fucking mind on this yacht. Then immediately after this, Naomi comes back crying and she tells him that her Aunt Emma died of a heart attack. But she was the rat hole that he was using to hide the money in Switzerland. Like the account was under her name. So he calls up the banker, Jean-Jacques or whatever, and he tells him, if you can get here in a day, we can like get somebody to forge your signature and whatever and put it in your name so that money isn't lost forever or lost from you.
Yeah.
20 mil.
20 million.
That's significant.
Yeah, so Jordan starts snapping and was like, we got to get to Switzerland. And like Naomi's like, well, don't we got to go to London? You know, my aunt just died. He was like, look, nobody loved your aunt in this world more than me. We got to get to Switzerland right now.
Sure, buddy.
Captain Ted.
Honey, your aunt will still be dead when we get there.
No, yeah. That was like simultaneously like, I get it, but damn rude.
Man, look. So Captain Ted tried to tell him, we get a cameo from I forgot that dude's name, but you.
Oh, Shea Wiggum.
Yeah, Shea Wiggum.
I had to look him up too.
That's Captain Ted, and he tries to tell him like we get, because he wants to go to Monaco, and from Monaco they can get to Switzerland fast. But he's like, I don't know if we can sail that fast, you know.
It's gonna be rough.
It's gonna be rough.
Importantly, without punching a passport.
Yeah. And he was like, well, what's the worst that could happen? He's like, maybe we lose some dishes. And like he definitely wasn't on board with it. But he was like, this isn't a good idea, but he doesn't want to tell boss no kind of deal.
That definitely where he was at on this.
Yeah. Because he knew exactly what this meant when he said freaking bat into hashes. Man. So they get underway. Next scene is just the boat in a storm. Just completely getting ravaged. And like they're in the I was about to say the cockpit. What's the
the bridge.
The wheelhouse bridge? Okay. Captain Ted's trying to steer the yacht. Margot Robbie's like holding on the railing and Jordan's holding on to her, and Jonah Hill's on the other side like he's dying too. He's like, can we turn around? No, we can't turn around because then we'll be was it capsized or something?
Yeah.
Broadsided?
The water broadside the boat and it would capsize.
Yeah, they have to head into the wind, because if they turn at all, then that'll knock the ship over.
I started whistling Titanic bad because I was like, that's where we're at. Like,
Just
oh,
never go on the open ocean on a vessel with Leonardo DiCaprio.
yeah, a little bit.
That's funny.
You end up on an island at least.
So then the ship capsizes in the storm anyway. And they get rescued.
But through all this, through the wind and the waves, what's the one thing on his mind?
Oh yeah, he said, "I don't want to fucking die sober." Jordan,
where are the fucking Quaaludes?
Like, not Jordan. Jordan's like, "I don't want to fucking die sober." Donnie, get the Quaaludes, and like Donnie goes down below deck to go get him, and like the ship is taking on water.
It's bad.
Yeah,
It's nothing's good is going on.
Priorities.
Yeah, like I think there was. I know I couldn't tell if there was water in the bag or not. I think there was water in the bag. And he still brought it back, and like he was able to like get one and throw it into his mouth or some shit.
My God,
then
where was
the
Donnie's
baby's
wife?
Oh, Donnie's wife, or below, probably with the kids. I don't know. No, we didn't actually see the kids, did we?
No, we never see anybody's kids but his, and just the little girls. But they're not even on the ship.
Yeah,
we don't
see the ship. Or we don't see the kids on the ship. That's right. But yeah, so I guess she's below deck. Anyway,
where it's filling with water.
Anyway, doesn't matter. Anyway, so they get rescued, and everybody's like celebrating. They're all happy, and Jordan's sitting there looking out the window, and he sees a private plane flying, and just explodes. And he was like, "Did y'all?" And this is the narration talking. He's like, "Did y'all fucking see that? That plane just exploded. That was the plane that I called to pick us up."
3 people died.
He said 3 people died on that plane. A fucking seagull flew into the engine. It was just, I'm not gonna say it was casual, but like it just fucking
no
happened.
one notices.
No one notices except for him. And
you almost aren't sure it happened.
Yeah,
because he's still high.
Yeah, he's still high.
That's a very good point.
He's like, "Did y'all see that?" But yeah, so he took this as a sign from God. So he sobers up over the next 2 years, and then he also starts doing like finance seminars and becomes a TV personality. And like that's when we see him doing the infomercial that we were talking about in the beginning of the episode. I remember these infomercials too from a kid.
Good God!
And I remember so much TV from back then. I don't remember those.
YouTube.
What channels were you watching?
I don't know.
I was watching Nickelodeon.
I didn't have cable. That's why. There's the line. There's the line. Yeah, so 2 years after the yacht sank, the Swiss banker Sorel gets arrested on U.S. soil with Rugrat. And we hear the narration, "What are the fucking odds? There are 10,000 Swiss bankers in Geneva, and Rugrat gets the one dumb enough to get himself arrested on U.S. soil."
That's pretty fucking dumb.
Like, not...
That's just the last place you fucking go.
Right?
Yeah, you just don't need to be there. Why would you even need to be there?
You're doing shady shit with Americans. Why are you going to America? And he wasn't even doing business. They were like out eating, celebrating in Miami or some shit. And apparently, so the banker got busted for some drug money laundering scandal involving the owner of Benihana Hibachi restaurants. So some shit that wasn't even Jordan's shit.
Yep.
And since evidence against him is overwhelming, Jordan agrees to gather evidence on his colleagues in exchange for leniency because, of course, the lawyer fucking snitched on him to try and lessen his shit. So now they got Jordan wearing a wire.
Oh, and he was fucking Brad's wife the whole time.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Oh, God, right.
I think at this point, Brad's dead, too.
Oh, yeah. When he decided to get out, he died about 3 years later.
Yeah, with the dude from a heart attack. So
died at 35, same age as Mozart.
Right. Dude.
So then we get the scene like Jordan and Naomi are having sex. And if that's what you want to call it, because it wasn't really... she wasn't really trying to sleep with them.
That was pretty borderline.
Yeah. But as soon as he finishes, she tells him that's the last time. She doesn't love him anymore, and she wants a divorce and custody of the kids.
Fair.
And if that scene wasn't harsh, Jordan snaps on her, and she slaps him, and then he slaps her, and then he goes off to like another room, and he rips open a couch cushion, and pulls out a bag of cocaine.
Because that's how you do when you are an abuser and you get off the stuff. You still hide some to find later.
You know that he knew that bag. He was sober for 2 fucking years, and he knew that bag of cocaine was in that couch cushion the whole fucking time. But yeah, so he starts snorting it. Then Naomi comes back and she insults him because look at you, you pathetic. Look at you. And then he gets up and he punches her in the stomach. And then he runs and pulls their daughter out of bed and puts her in the car. And like Naomi catches up and like she smashes the driver's side window. And Jordan reverses through the closing garage door, and he crashes into like a brick post in the driveway. And like he put the seatbelt on his daughter, but he didn't put the seatbelt on, so he like cracks his head off the steering wheel. And like Naomi runs and pulls the daughter out the car, and she just leaves him there with his head bleeding. So that was rough.
They're absolutely too rough.
If for some reason you are one of those people who can watch a movie like this and think that it's literally glorifying these people, this is the point where you should be saying to yourself, "Oh, he's a bad guy."
Yes.
See, my theory is like it's like the Galaxy meme, right? Like they only get to the first level, and it's like, "Oh, this is bad." Like usually I see this argument with Scott Pilgrim, where they're like, Scott's a bad person. And then we're like, the movie makes it a point for you to know that he's a bad person.
10 minutes in, you should have been on board for that.
Like, and they're like, they try to make the argument that it's making you fall in love with a bad person. It's like, nah, it's pretty clear.
I feel like you weren't watching this movie.
They're like the opening narration isn't like, this is Scott Pilgrim. He's dating a high schooler, and everyone's cool with it. Like it's brought up as like there's something wrong with him.
It's literally what the movie's about. Is he's a shitty person and he has to learn to be better.
The comics lay it out so thick, and there's all these dudes who like I'm gonna get a Ringer t-shirt and some wrist cuffs. And I'm gonna model. You're not gonna model yourself after this. What are you doing? I think 500 Days of Summer is about me. Whoa, buddy.
Look,
you good?
Part of that movie is he was wrong too. Like,
like, are you good, buddy? But I know too many non-melanated folks who were like, that's like me. I went through. No, you did not go through that. If you did, we need to stop talking right now. No, you didn't. That woman can sleep with whoever she wants. Y'all were not really dating, and you know it.
Look. But yeah, like that drives me fucking crazy because it's like the Galaxy brain meme thing. They're the first level. You got to keep going, like go deeper. It's like, oh yeah, they showed you him doing bad things, and that's where you stop.
Right.
But the movie isn't big, like showing you that it's literally a cautionary tale. Like it shows you him doing this wild shit, and then it also shows you the consequences because you're not supposed to be doing wild shit, man. Anyway, yeah, so. It all comes crashing down for Jordan. Next, we see the FBI putting a wire on Jordan. He had given him a list of everybody he did crooked shit with, and the first person he had to incriminate was Donnie. So he goes into the office, and he had lunch with them in Donnie's office, and he slips him a note saying that he has a wire on, don't incriminate yourself.
Man.
So, but look, these stupid motherfuckers, oh my God. Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Nobody destroys the note. Like, you see him slide it to Donnie, put a napkin on top of it. Donnie puts the napkin back on it, slides it back, but nobody destroyed the note. So, and that's how the FBI finds out, and they go ahead and arrest Jordan. And then they raid the Stratton office, and they had like, he had a list. So he went and arrested all of the brokers that like he'd given tips to everybody.
All the major players.
Yeah. And then
including Kimmy.
Yeah, including Kimmy. But of course, he gave everyone away, and that like got his sentence reduced to 3 years in a minimum security prison in Nevada. 3 years. He'd been scamming for 7 years at least, right?
Yeah.
3 years in a minimum security prison, and he got out after 22 months. And after that, he made a living doing seminars, teaching people how to sell stuff, traveling around the world.
No, I mean, he straight up said it. He goes, at first I was thinking this would be the worst thing in my life. And then I remembered I'm rich. It's like that scene in Boondocks where like the black guy's like, like he bumps into the white guy. He's like, motherfucker, I'm about to kick your ass. And the white guy goes, wait a minute, I'm white. He just walks away.
He just walks away?
He's like, I'm rich. It's not going to be that bad. The tennis court in the prison.
Yeah, they had a tennis. He was playing freaking badminton. Like
one of my brothers was in prison. I went there. They had no tennis court. They had a creepy white dude who like looked at me and made me scared to go to prison forever. Every time I think of doing something illegal, I see this skinny white man who looked like he could pull his bones out and use as a knife.
Oh, shit. You got
he was
straight
terrified.
Just off of proxy.
Yeah.
That's why they call it Club Fed, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's the movie.
That is. Well, did you say the last scene?
Yeah. He's just doing the seminar.
Oh, yeah. Stumbling this pen.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't talk about that from earlier.
Oh, yeah. That was a callback to earlier in the movie. And it's such a simple answer that, like, it's funny to hear people mess it up. Like, take this pen, sell me this pen. And people just start talking up the pen, but it's like, that's so superfluous. Yeah. Like, hey, write your name now. Oh, you can't.
Oh, you can't. Supply.
How about you buy this pen? Then you can write your name.
It's like I just take the pen. Oh, thank you. No, I need that. Oh, you do? How much is worth to you?
Yes.
Yeah. What was your favorite aspect of the movie? I guess
the central performance from DiCaprio is everything in this movie. He does a lot of physical comedy in this. Like he does things with his body. That weird dance he does, I think, at his wedding reception. Yeah.
He just starts doing.
I really want to know the story behind that.
Popping and locking. It was like,
right?
Yeah, it wasn't even. There was no locking. He was just like, I ain't got no bones.
Yeah, it was all pop.
He's doing things in this movie physically that are approaching like a Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Right?
I can see that.
I won't say he's quite Jim Carrey level, but it's approaching what he can do with his body. But also, Jim Carrey, I can't see pulling off the other aspects of this character. I don't know who else in 2013 could have pulled this off.
If you give me some time, I could tell you.
I mean,
I always forget his name, and you guys will probably dispute. You're welcome to argue. The guy that played Ant-Man,
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
No,
there's these times when Paul Rudd starts playing serious, where it's like, oh,
he
shit.
used to be a serious actor.
But Paul Rudd's too likable.
Well, I think that's what pulls you into this guy too, though. Like, you don't want to hate this guy at first, but then it's really poured onto you. You have to.
I think Paul Rudd could. I mean,
it wouldn't be the same thing.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the same, but he could. I think he could do it and us not be like, "Oh, you suck."
I'm watching this show, Only Murders in the Building. It's his third season. Paul Rudd's in it. Without giving too much away, at some point, like he's not just being goofy, stupid Paul Rudd, and it's like, what am I crying about? You son of a bitch. And I think he's got a lot of Paul Rudd still in the can that a lot of people don't know about.
All right. I mean, y'all heard it here. Paul Rudd, Oscar caliber dramatic actor.
If he ever feels like it.
He's like John C. Reilly. Like, he was a dramatic actor, and then he did some funny stuff, and then people only remembers the funny stuff.
I mean, he's been famous for funny stuff for 30 years. So, but
he was just in Clueless last year.
I'll be that
star
guy too.
of 106 films. God damn.
Jeez. Well, star. Anyway, there was something else I was going to say.
We already passed 2 hours. Remember that.
Continue.
Shoot. Dovetailing into what you're saying, Leo's narration just holds everything together.
Yeah.
I can almost imagine they thought about doing this without doing a lot of narration. It wouldn't work. It would be a harder watch without him.
SCORSESE.
Does he always do narration?
I don't know. He does it a lot. It's kind of part of one of his things.
Yeah, I guess there is that kind of.
He didn't do it in the last two movies we watched.
He doesn't always do it, but again, this is white collar Goodfellas.
I could see somebody trying to do this movie without it. It would fall apart. It's the only thing that stitches the movie together throughout all these various cuts and weird jumps in time.
It goes super fast. Sorry, y'all sent me down the Paul Rudd hole.
Get out! Get out of there!
You did that.
Get out of there!
He was in Romeo and Juliet. Jesus Christ!
What are you doing?
Sorry. Let me go back.
We have to go back.
Definitely the comedy for me, though. That's my favorite aspect. It's like now that I'm not hating it anymore, just the jokes. Like I was so like the dialogue, especially Donnie. Like just those two idiots together, which they are. They're just two fucking boneheads. Smoke crack with me.
I want to show you something. I got
a surprise
for you.
I called him the N-word. Yeah, he was really upset. Oh, shit. But yeah, favorite scene.
The Quaaludes.
Which one? The
you know it.
The slow motion
country club. That whole part.
Oh yeah, the whole.
Yeah, that's.
Hey, what are you fucking saying, Jordan? I can't. Are you fucking high, Jordan? Get off the wall. Get off.
Mine was the aftermath of the boat crash. Just him sitting there, like really just soaking in how, like, man, everybody's over there partying.
Happy to be alive.
Nobody saw the plane blow up but me.
Did y'all just fucking see it?
The way that it was presented too was just like, damn.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, because he was just sitting there, like narrating, talking, taking it all
Holy
in. Like
shit,
you said,
you guys see that plane?
And the plane explodes, and he's like, and he keeps talking after the plane explodes,
and he doesn't.
And then he cuts back. He's like, "Wait, did y'all see that?"
He doesn't say to anyone in the room, "Oh my god, the plane!"
He doesn't say it to anybody else. He's just like, "Wait."
Just a private moment.
That's the
him
plane.
witnessing
he's being a bro. He's not like bringing the party down. I thought you were supposed to get a plane to come get us. Must have been late.
Oh man,
I'll call another one.
What about you, Fran? Okay.
I think it was the plane scene. Like just for that conversation. Like I didn't remember it at all, so I was extra weak. Like I didn't know it was coming.
Everything was so dour and fucked up. These people are over here dancing it off, trying to like not think about how bad shit was.
Oh no. The you called the Captain N-word scene.
Oh, that scene. Yes. Good God.
Because it just the conversation. Like, and like just the way Donnie was just like, yeah, you called him N-word. Yeah, he was really upset. I think you might have a drug problem.
I don't think we ever actually said that his father's played by Rob Reiner. We brought him up earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled up his filmography. These are all back to back. Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, A Few Good Men. Name a director with 5 classics back to back to back like that.
You could.
I mean, you could, but they're few and far between. They're few and far between.
But consistent.
There's only a handful with that kind of consistency over there.
Yeah, consistent classics. Not like oh, like people like argue certain Scorsese movies are good, but not like classics. With him, like if you said like The Princess Bride, you're gonna have 5 people in the place like say a line. Hello, lady. You know, they're gonna give you a line from Princess Bride. So yeah, he's definitely up there as far as like really good American directors.
Put some respect on his name. That's all I'm saying. All right.
Well, now that I know who he is, I will. So I'm gonna just get to my favorite one.
Go ahead.
Favorite character? What character are you?
It's probably weird, but Kristen Milotti. I can't. What was his wife's name? Teresa. I really think that she tried so hard. She's not in enough of the movie to like be like important for some people, but I thought she was good. Which character am I? Not Donnie.
You don't smoke crack. Good job.
No.
Phosphorescent. Is that a real word? Because
yeah.
Okay. Google tried to tell me it wasn't.
You're probably spelling it wrong.
I'm probably if you take out all the drug doing, I'm probably Chester. That's Chester Ming, the guy that was eating all the time.
Yeah.
The dude who just walked across the room and punched dude right in the nose.
Yeah, it's just like, let's get this done.
All right.
Oh man.
Favorite character? Man, these people are all insane. I'm gonna go with Mad Max. Like his first introduction scene is hilarious, and just being the voice of reason.
And then Donnie's just always fucking with him.
Donnie was fucking with him, and I wanted him to be the one who hits him, but at least he got hit. That's the important thing. I would be either him or Silicon Valley bro, who got kicked out
for cleaning the fishbowl.
Because I'm not one of these guys.
I'm not one of these guys either. I think I might have to copy your answer because I was trying to think. I was like, the closest person I identify with in this whole movie is Silicon Valley cleaning his fishbowl. Because like
again, it's a situation where it's like
I'm the dude who had the plan at work.
Yeah,
I used to yell at people for trying to water my plant. It's like, no, don't water it. No, you'll overwater it. I got it.
It was like he got his shit done and was like, I'm gonna clean up my fish tank right quick. And they were like, really? Now?
Today? It's fucking IPO day. And he ate his fish and fired him.
Like,
I would sue him.
I'm sorry. Favorite character is Jordan. It's an amazing character.
Ooh.
I got it.
My favorite character is Donnie. I mean, both are they're like two sides of the same coin. Yeah. Actually, the same side of a coin. Actually, but
that coin only flips one way. It's a slug. You cannot get tails on that.
But
coin.
Just the shit that he would say, and just as if like he had to be special. Like he knew it's the fucking crack. Like
yes.
He would just say without thinking how he sounded. Just no filter. Because it's funny to watch. And that's not why I like him, but it's because it's funny to watch. Funny to laugh at.
He is his own children's uncle.
If I had to give a different answer for who I am, that's funny. it clicked out other than Fishbowl Dude. I don't know. Nobody in this movie. Maybe Jon Favreau, who's like, yeah, this is the way this shit works, and you gonna do it or you gonna do it? I don't know. Shit. I'm Captain Ted.
Trying to think of some of the earlier people, but yeah, I'm still stuck on the guy who nonchalantly just makes sure he has food.
Yeah, so dang, that's our Scorsese miniseries. I'm still bummed I didn't get to do Silence, but it's also a Leo miniseries. And
to be fair, no one's going to listen to a Silence podcast.
Yeah, that's another thing. Ain't nobody see that movie but me and hardcore
you could just
cinephiles.
You could just do a like an episode of the podcast. So like, this is the podcast for Silence, and then you don't speak for 8 minutes.
Don't say anything. On today's episode is Martin Scorsese's Silence.
And see how long people wait until they go, damn it.
You ruined it.
They just go, damn it. Like, what? Are you serious? Like,
Well, yeah,
the real MVP of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Quaaludes. Shout out to Quaaludes.
Lemons.
Quaaludes, we miss
Disco biscuits.
Mandrakes.
He said no, he takes them for his back. And then, like, knowing what I know about Bill Cosby, it's like, damn,
bro.
But they explained Quaaludes 2 times in this movie. So, yeah, I guess his first wife too.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
It's hard for her to be an MVP because no one listens to her, and then she fucks off like before that.
Okay, I don't even know if they had kids.
Tell him find that job in the paper because he didn't even want to hear it. She was like, "See, what does that say? Stockbroker." Yeah. We wouldn't have the rest of the movie,
which means we wouldn't have him being as terrible a person. So really,
everything's her fault.
Yes,
that was the canon event.
Oh no! God damn it!
No, everything's Matthew McConaughey's fault. All right, final thoughts and ratings.
I'm gonna just say it would be hard for me to recommend this movie to a lot of the people that I know that weren't. I think I said this before. Like, if you're not into watching movies, It is a 3-hour experience, but I will pop up probably like, hey, I know it's going back to my nearly shade. Like, did you like any of those Sandler movies with him and his crew just acting a fool? Like, you want to watch that on 10?
Only people who really enjoyed
You want to
this
watch that on
outside of
11?
like movie people are just it's on a creeper tip for like Margot Robbie,
I could see that.
or
I
just
mean,
like they just like seeing boobs in movies.
it is
Like,
peak 20-year-old white dude movie.
yeah,
It
yeah.
is like their whole deal. Like, they watch 500 Days of Summer and then they watch this and they think they can run anything.
All right, Jamel.
I think this is a good, even though I have only watched this movie twice in 10 years, I think it's a good hangout movie. I think you can put this on, you can ignore it, especially if you've seen it once or twice. Like,
Oh, you
you know,
wild. Come over, we hanging out. I look up at the TV and Leonardo DiCaprio has a candle in his ass.
yeah.
Put it on in the background at the con.
Wolfie, fuck your safe word. Smoke some crack with me.
Come on.
All right, one hit.
Because I think it's really solid, but like I said, a bit one note through a lot of it. 4 out of 5 for me. It's great, but it's not Scorsese's best. But I think it is the best performance from DiCaprio. I think this is what he should have won his Oscar for.
Okay, that's fair.
They should have added a bear to this.
If he had snorted cocaine and fought a bear, 5 out of 5. Greatest movie.
Yeah, like I said, I did not like this movie the first time I saw it. It was an onslaught. It was overwhelming. I don't like
Weak.
I felt, I guess so. Like it was too much, man. And this time, now that I know what I was getting into, like, and I had my mind right, like I could just sit back and just laugh. Like it is funny shit. And I was thinking about it. This also came out in 2013, and it's a very similar movie. You could do a double feature if you wanted to spend fucking 6 hours of your day. This and Pain and Gain, which is the same deal. Michael Bay's Pain and Gain, which is like based on a true story about, I forgot what they did, but they got into business doing some shady shit, and or maybe they stole money. I can't remember. But they ended up like kidnapping the dude who like founded Schlotzsky's or something, and it just kept getting worse and worse because they were just making bad decision after bad decision. But it was played for
I've
jokes.
definitely not seen that.
I can see if I could find it. If it's streaming anywhere, we can go through it at some point. But it's same thing. It's even funnier because it has The Rock in it, and when he does that kind of comedy, is like, to me that is peak Rock. Is either when he's so charismatic and he's just an asshole like Hobbs, or he's that character where he's funny and stupid. Like that's him at his best to me. But yeah, like it was so fucking funny. This is the better movie between the two, but there's a lot of parallels between them.
All right.
Is what I just realized.
If you try to put a Michael Bay movie over Scorsese, I think I'd have to fight you.
Look, see stuff like that is just.
I'm just saying, like,
But
I think the internet
just
would
gave
call
two.
on me to do that.
The world is full of nuance. Like you just can't just say this static statement and this static statement and rule out anything.
Fight,
you could put there. I guarantee you, there's a Scorsese movie that's better than a good Michael Bay movie. I guarantee you.
I mean, worse.
Yeah.
Worse, sir.
I promise you.
I'll look into it.
I promise you that there's some Scorsese movie that you probably don't
find the
with,
worst Scorsese and the best Michael Bay.
And then they could do a movie. They do a movie together with the Transformers do cocaine.
I think Scorsese would stab Michael Bay if they met in person.
I think they have met in person and he didn't stab him.
There was probably people in between them.
I think Scorsese wants Christopher Nolan to do every movie from the rest until the end of time, but not about comic books. Unfortunately, he already has done that, and Scorsese somehow forgot.
It's funny because it's just, I'm actually on the comic book people side when it comes to like the Scorsese versus Marvel wars or whatever. and I feel a little dirty for it, but I hate elitism.
He makes a lot of weird arguments.
I understand where
it's
he's coming from, but it's 100% like elitism, gatekeeping, and slash fear. There's also a hint of fear in it because
that's a good
people are going to see these movies that are formulaic and yada
easy
yada.
to understand.
Yeah, versus true art. Like the art is draining out of him. I get it. I get where he's coming from, but at the same time, like there's a reason why there's a general audience and then there's critics. There's a reason, like people who watch movies for art aren't always the people who watch movies for entertainment. So what are we doing here? Like, why complain?
Like, didn't he compare those movies to like a theme park ride, like a roller coaster ride or something like that?
People love roller coasters.
I'm saying, like, that's
what are his movies? A ride in a limousine?
Okay, I'm saying that's not. I mean, you're saying, but they're not valid.
Yes, but he also said it in a way that's like, okay.
Did he say it in that way, or did we interpret it in that way?
See, I was on the side that we interpreted it that way, but then he said some shit again, and I was like, all right, now like I can't defend you again.
He has doubled down.
He just did it. Yeah, he doubled down. So I can't. Yeah,
he was like, watching superhero movies makes me not fuck good, and everybody's like, whoa, what the fuck? Why you bring that up? He goes, I didn't. That's how you interpreted it.
What are we at? My ratings? My final, we're still doing my final thoughts. I'm just
final thoughts.
Yeah. So hated it. Loved it this time, and
that's fair.
I think I gave this a 6 or some shit, which means it's fine.
6 isn't in the basement. That's all right.
At the same time, it was like I'm gonna just give it a 6 because I understand that cool things were done and it was neat things were done, but I didn't like it. But I'm gonna give it a 6 because it's still a decent like I saw the effort. I just didn't like it kind of deal. But I genuinely liked it this time. That was your old rating? Yeah, my old rating.
Okay.
My new rating, strong 7.5, maybe 8. I might bump it up to an 8, which would be
maybe it's an 8 if you're on Quaaludes.
Yeah, if I'm on.
We'll never know.
They're all gone.
They're all gone. Because they used them all in this movie, apparently. God damn.
They got whatever was left.
Look.
Wait, that was a bit of trivia I learned too, real quick. It was vitamin D, I guess, is what they were snorting to simulate cocaine. Jonah Hill actually was hospitalized for how much vitamin D he snorted.
We don't even see him snort as much as Jordan, as much as Leo.
True.
Look, I guess he went in.
God damn it.
Leo's better actor. That's method. What happens if you take too much vitamin D?
I don't know. I didn't know you could overdose on a vitamin.
I knew you could.
Oh, you definitely can get more of something than your body can use. Yeah, what the effect of it is, whatever the effect is, I'm not always sure of. But like vitamin D, your body processes more of it naturally when you're out in the sun, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you? I mean, we sunburn. I don't know. That's odd. That's an odd one. I'd have to look into that.
His nostrils got sunburn. But yeah, 7.58, somewhere in there. I would definitely buy this DVD. I'd buy the Criterion at the Criterion sale. Are you looking to see if you have this DVD?
I am. I don't. I have to fix that.
But yeah, it redeemed itself. Or maybe I redeemed myself. I don't know.
I think.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the movie, guys. Plugs?
Me, same as normal. D&D Sluggers, we'll run it fast. DD Sluggers, anywhere you're looking. And if you're also interested in seeing the new stuff that's coming out, go to the Patreon first. It's going to be there, and then eventually at the YouTube.
Jamel?
I have a new plug because Tifron successfully bullied me into getting a Blue Sky account. You can now find me at jrodman.bsky.social on Blue Sky. Honestly, you'll just see me posting my movie grid scores.
Should I do movie grid today?
Still isn't popping like that for me, but at least it's not full of Nazis. So,
hey,
thumbs up.
At least they're not going to ask you to take a picture with your government ID and send it to some firm in Israel to verify your. Anyway.
Also, fuck Elon Musk.
Yeah, he's not doing well.
I wish he was doing worse.
Same.
You can follow the podcast at SGBK Podcast on Threads, on Blue Sky. You can email us if you don't do social stuff at sgbkpodcast@gmail.com. Follow me personally at Tifron on Letterboxd and Blue Sky. And thank you all for listening. It's been fun.
Take care.
I think this is episode 28. We've been doing this half a year.
Right on.
Oh shit. I got to announce next week's episode. Let's do the Alien movie.
Like Alien?
No, it's a new Alien movie that came out on Hulu.
No One Will Save You.
That's the one. All right, next week, No One Will Save You. Bye.
Bye.